Welcome back. This is Bill. I'm that expat prepper living out in the Philippines. Province life is the good life. This video today is about my personal rating or assessment, or whatever you want to call it, of where I think I am at in my preps. And I'm going to break it down in a minute. But what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to listen to me speak for a bit, because you'll have questions up front and then you'll get some answers towards the end or middle of the video. But then this video is not to validate myself. This video is I'm asking for you guys to tell me if I'm close to accurate, or if I'm missing something blatantly, areas that I can improve, and so on. So that's the main thing. The main reason I'm putting this video out is because I think I'm in pretty good shape, and you'll see that here in a second. But I want you guys that are fellow preppers and people that are preparing for any crisis situation to kind of take a hard look at where I'm at and then give me some advice, right? You know, I've only been doing this a year and a half, so it's key that the community, that's you guys, help me. So the main things I'm going to talk about is going to be the main core preps, right? So my food situation. I'm going to talk about my water situation. I'm going to go into my location in the site security and things I have of that nature. And then I'm going to go into energy, power, and gas and stuff of that nature and where I'm at there. And then I'm going to stop and talk about some miscellaneous items. Now, at the end of the video, I'm also going to go into some plans of what I know I need to do. And these are the things that will probably answer some of your questions. But let's get started. All right, so starting with food, I'm actually going to rate myself a 6 out of 10, as you see here in this chart. And I know that's, relying really heavy on my pantry, but if you've seen my pantry videos, you know I have a pretty diverse stock of food stuff, right? Between the grains, the canned foods, the freeze-dried foods that I do, the freeze-dried food that I bought, the emergency energy bars, and the condiments and everything. I personally believe I have a year's supply of food if it was just me and my wife. Now, the reality is it's probably 90 days supply of food during a crisis, because the amount of people that will end up being here, right? So we can talk about that at the end of the video. Now, I also have some stuff in the freezer. In the event of a power crisis, the freezer food is going to either have to get cooked and eaten real quick, or something's going to have to be done. I might have to hook it up to a generator or something. But so that's, an area of food that I have as well. And then I slid farm in here because I live in a farming community, right? So produce and food is readily available out here. It will be the first 2 or 3 weeks of a crisis just because it's growing out here. Okay? So areas that I'm really kind of lacking in, the number one is I don't grow or produce any of my own food. Okay? I'm looking into some hydroponics stuff, and I'm obviously trying to get some money saved up so I can buy a farm out here where I live and I can grow my own food. But that is why I gave myself a 6 out of 10. Mostly because I think it's only a 90-day supply for the reality of who I'm going to be feeding during a crisis. And the other problem is going to be is I just don't grow my own food. Anyways, that's where I believe I sit when it comes to food at this time. Now, I do rotate my stock, and I am adding all the time. So the other main core thing is water. Now, you notice here that I rate myself pretty high on water. I give myself a 9 out of 10. And there's several good factors involved. One is I have 2 wells. One of them's a very deep well. I put it down all the way until it was pushing water back up. It's more than 200 feet down, and in this area, that's deep, trust me. Now, not just do I have the wells that produce pretty good water by themselves, but I have the full RO filtration system of a large water shop that I run on this site, right? So everything, my wells, my water shop, and everything is secure within my building, okay? So I'm not relying on anything external to my building. It's all 100% contained within my building. It includes over 4,000 liters of storage in big stainless steel tanks. And I have the generators to run it if there is no power down. So I'm giving myself a 9 out of 10 on the water. I don't think that's too high. I think it's realistic. So Comment down below what you guys think about that. Now, I talked about my site here briefly. So one of the things that's key to, being prepared is your location. I am outside of any metropolitan area. I'm in a small little farming community. If you've seen any of my videos, you've heard me say this many, many times. I'm not so far out that I'm off in the jungle, but I'm definitely in a farming town. People are farming and raising animals all out here and around here. So my location is fairly secure. It's a small town. I did the nuclear map test thing, and I'm outside of any blast or EMP radius if something was to hit Manila, which is the closest metropolitan area to me. So my location is really good. The other cool thing about my location is it's a solidly built concrete building. All right, right now it's a 2-story building. Eventually it will be a 3-story building, but it's a 2-story building that the Filipinos considered over-engineered. I consider it extremely earthquake and natural disaster proof. Okay, all my external entries into my building are secured with gates, and I'm talking metal gates, not wood gates, and those roll down shutters that you see, you see them, the roll down shutters. So I also have it very secured from an external position, and then I have CCTV cameras in multiple places all around the property. Trust me, I see everything that's going on. And in a power down situation, these run off of 12-volt batteries. I might not be able to record, but I can certainly see what's going on using minimal power. So I gave myself a 6 out of 10 for my building. I do have some issues I won't go into because those are issues on my security, and I'm working on those. Now, we talked about power. Now, this building's 2 stories. It's going to be 3 stories. I just haven't started working the construction of the 3rd floor yet. So I don't have the full off-grid solar, 45 to 50 kilowatt supply on the roof that I want. And I don't have the batteries. I have the room for the batteries, but not the batteries themselves. So I'm rating myself here a 5 out of 10. Yeah, and the reason it's 5 out of 10 is because I do have a multi-fuel generator. I do have 6 50 kg LPG tanks. That's a lot, trust me, that's a lot of gas. I can run that generator for a long time as well as cook with that gas. I have a large supply of solar panels that are portable, right? So I've done many video reviews on multiple of the products. These guys can be used to charge up not only USB capable devices or my USB battery chargers or my little Light Pro batteries that I run with all my lights, but it will also charge up my Blue Eddy solar generator as well as my Jackery knockoff, and it will even charge up some other devices I have. So I have the capability to charge things and with the generator to run some things, just not the entire house. So that's why my rating's down to 5, but I have more than enough to get through 90-day crisis, a power down, grid down situation. And I feel that with the USB lights and stuff I have, that I literally can keep this place lit up 24/7 for 3 days just on the juice of what I have in the lights that I have charged now. Now, keep in mind, I plan on recharging the ones I use at night, during the day, etc. So that's where I sit with power. I know I'm, not all the way there because I need to be off-grid. I'm just not off-grid right now. I'm doing the best I can. All right. Now, as I said, I was going to talk about some miscellaneous stuff. And this is where everything just kind of gets tossed in here. I'm rating myself a 7 out of 10 because I actually do have a lot of miscellaneous things I want to talk about. I do have, 4 ham radios, and I might add more, as well as some walkie-talkie sets. I have an extensive medical supply. Please go ahead and watch that video. You'll realize that I'm actually, I put a lot of effort and time into my medical supplies because I'm assuming that I'll have a nurse or someone with me in a crisis situation, as well as a lot of medicine and OTC medicine. So this is miscellaneous stuff. I also have a lot of tools on hand, right? In a crisis, people sometimes forget that they need to have tools and other things to get other stuff done, right? I have all the tarps, I have all the miscellaneous preps, I have all the EDC gear, I have ropes and pulleys and any climbing gear you think you could need. I have clothing and gloves. I have a lot of tools that may need to be used in a crisis event. Lots of tape, lots of tarp, lots of plastic if I need to seal the site up. I have a lot of things like fans, and just I have a ton of stuff that's miscellaneous that either is needed during certain crises or just makes it more bearable during a crisis. I have some seeds, and I'm working on getting more for after the crisis is over, if there's any rebuilding that's needed. And I threw in my drone there because I do have a drone, so I can do perimeter security up to like 5 kilometers away from my location, right? So I've done a lot of prepping, and I've got a lot of videos. So if you guys doubt any of this stuff, just go take a look at it. And all this is I'm lumping all into miscellaneous because it's all needed, and it's what I got. So I'm giving myself a 7 out of 10. I'm sure I'm missing stuff. Just go ahead and drop that down in the comment. So now you know where I rate myself. I want to talk about some of the things that I'm doing outside of those core things. Now, all of my planning is geared around specific type of events, right? So I have plans if it's a drought or crop failure that's affecting me. I have plans for power failure, grid down situations. Now, all of these plans have different scenarios, right? But I have an economic plan that if the economy collapses, which would affect a lot of things as well, but power may still be running. You never know. What if there's another pandemic? That's a whole different situation as well, because you'll have power and probably food, but you'll be locked down. And then war. If there's a world war, what are those? So these are the main concerns that I have. So I have, as I'll talk about right now, I have plans that I want to at least outline when these types of events happen. What course do I need to take? I need to make sure that in any one of these events I can last minimum the first 2 weeks, right? So the first 2 weeks is where everybody's relaxed. They're like, oh, the power's down, it'll be up in a week, or a hurricane came through, the government's going to fix everything. So you're kind of in a prepared survival mode, but you're not panicking yet. No one else is panicking. But then what I need to do is I need to reevaluate after that 2-week mark, and I need to start thinking to myself, all right, where's my community and where's my family? This is turning into a large crisis, and it's going to really tax my supplies, and it's going to adjust my plans, right? So my next plans after the first 2 weeks is I'm hardcore looking at what's my 90-day plan for this event right now. And that's going to take into factor any community members that make it out, what they bring with them, their families, right? So when you have a nurse that's in your community, she probably has a husband and a kid. So you've got to plan for that, as well as your one, I have a nurse, but that nurse has family. So how many people will be here? What are they bringing? What are their assets? What are their skills? And then what other family members? Now, we're going to now focus on the 90-day and beyond cycle. That means turning away people, not giving away food, and really hunkering down. Now, I'm working and adjusting these plans as I go. But this is where I'm at today. This is what I've been able to accomplish in a year and a half. And I know not everyone can do what I did, especially out here in the Philippines, where the struggle is real just to eat every day. But what I'm really hoping from my community and from you guys out there is to look at what I just talked about, think about it, go back and watch some of my other videos talking about these specific items, and give me some good feedback or negative feedback. Just give me feedback, let me know where I'm at, because I'm more than willing to listen to anyone. I'm more than willing to make some changes. And I know I have work to do. All right, guys, thank you.